Okay, so let's now take a look at the book and see what they say about measures of variability. We talked about the range and mentioned in one sentence the interquartile range, the variance and the standard deviation. We didn't do this yet. So let's take a look at their opening introduction. So they say that the variability in the delivery time creates uncertainty for production scheduling. So if you're trying to schedule production and you don't know when things are arriving, that can give you problems. Methods in this section help measure and understand variability. So they say, in addition to measures of location or center, it is also desirable to consider measures of variability or dispersion. For example, suppose that you are a purchasing agent for a large manufacturing firm. Okay, so for example, suppose you are a purchasing agent for a large manufacturing firm that you regularly place orders with two different suppliers. After several months of operation, you find that the mean number of days required to fill orders is 10 days for both suppliers. So the mean is 10 for both. The histograms summarizing the number of workdays required to fill orders from the suppliers are shown in this figure. So let's take a look at that. So this is one of the companies, supplier, Dawson Supply, and this is J.C. Clark Distributors. And we can see that the mean here might be around 10, and maybe the mean here might also be around 10. These are the relative frequency distributions. We've seen that before. So even though the mean might be 10 for both of them, neither of them look exactly like 10, but anyway, let's suppose that it's right. But here you can see that sometimes it will be 7, and sometimes it will be even 15. Whereas here, it doesn't vary as much. It's only down around 9 sometimes and up around 11. So even though they both may have the same mean, these guys are much more variable, and we might say they're less dependable because of that. So they say, do the two suppliers demonstrate the same degree of reliability in terms of making deliveries on schedule? Note the dispersion or variability in delivery times indicated by the histograms. So they say, which supplier would you prefer? For most firms, receiving materials and supplies on schedule is important. The 7 or 8 day deliveries shown for J.C. Clark might be viewed favorably. However, a few slow 13 to 15 day deliveries could be disastrous in terms of keeping a workforce busy and production on schedule. This example illustrates a situation in which the variability in the delivery times may be an overriding consideration in selecting a supplier. For most purchasing agents, the lower variability shown by the Dawson company would make Dawson the preferred supplier. So in terms of range, what's the range of this data? The largest is 11 and the smallest is 9, so the range is 2. And here, the range for this supplier is between 15 and 7, means the range is 8. So this has a much greater range. And then what about the standard deviation? Well, it's going to turn out that the standard deviation here is much greater than the standard deviation here. Okay, so here's the definition of range, largest value minus smallest value, and we covered that.